Hello everybody and welcome to the Kumho TCR World Tour and the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. We're live from Sydney Motorsport Park and following what was a sensational day of racing. It has to be said, we're back again for not one but two racers, and once again Matt Nolte and Greg Rust join me, Paul Jeffrey, in the commentary box. Gentlemen, we have excitement personified coming our way, methinks.
We sat yesterday for the races. Didn't last very long. We were standing. We were on the edge of our on edge of our toes, more or less. We're already doing that because this is going to be good. There's no two ways about it. We do something for the internationals that they perhaps are not used to, and that is we add a bit of Australian flavour to it. We invert the top 10 from race 1. So we find those that finished first and second yesterday in Will Brown and Machinqua back on row 5. It's Nestor Girolami who will start from pole.
Sydney Motorsport Park is the scene. The Kumho TCR World Tour and Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia are the entertainment. And to help you through what should be another very exciting race indeed, myself, Paul Jeffrey, Matt Nolte and Greg Rust join me in the commentary box for round 2 of a weekend that has been rather special indeed, gentlemen.
Doesn't need much entertainment sell from us, I've got to be honest. I mean, what we had in qualifying yesterday, what we then enjoyed the race, the unpredictability of it, throw a bit of weather into the mix. Paul, you follow the series globally. I sense that so far everyone is enjoying their time down under, and I don't mean that in a patriotic way. They have reacted to the competitiveness of our field, and similarly our guys have stepped up with the arrival of the World Tour.
Could not agree more, could not agree more. The level has just been sensational. We knew that TCR Australia was going to be good, but I think it'd be fair to say that none of the internationals would have expected it to have been quite as strong as we've seen. We've had some inclement weather, we've had some racing, we've had some elbows out racing, which everybody enjoys. And Nolts, we've spoke many times this weekend about the way they just bring the show has been sensational, hasn't it?
We set the benchmark pretty high. This is the highlights of last night, the Friday night fight night here at Sydney Motorsport Park. The Australians led away from the front row, but it didn't take too long for the action to brew. They were 3 and 4 wide up there with the Lincoln Co cars. and Ian McDougall hung out to dry, but worse was to come here for Jordan Cox. That was the incident. Now keep an eye on where the Schaeffler Peugeot ends up at the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking to the grass on many occasions. This was a big moment as well. Tony D'Alberto on debut in the brand new Honda Civic, speared off of the racetrack. D'Alberto, though, would get the car restarted, and you'll see in a few moments, Rusty, he had another opportunity to go hard.
That was at 215 kilometres an hour. Heartbreak for Zach Suter with that Audi. The Lincoln Co team had to go to work, and then this happened down at turn 2. The rain began falling. It wasn't quite everywhere around Sydney Motorsport Park, but this was where it was at its worst. More than 70,000 people have seen that on social media. It's gone crazy as they all bowled wide. Not all of them. Some made advantage from it.
Forced a red flag for several minutes. We managed to get the entire duration in, but it just spiced up the race. This was the wettest point of the track here. They weren't going to be bitten twice. This was 3 wide action down through turn 4. Aaron Cameron, who was on an absolute tear in that E. Valvoline Peugeot last night.
As the track became more slippery, the drivers built their confidence, and the racing was intensity personified throughout the course of the remainder. The big fight, though, was here for 10th position and pole in the second race that we're about to see. While that one unfolded, though, Will Brown, in dominant fashion, took an historic victory for the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia field, beating the entirety of his regional championship, but also the Kumho TCR World Tour field, and with it becoming the second national driver to win overall at world level this season.
Pretty amazing.
Third victory for the season for Will Brown. He'll be steaming with confidence, but today it's a little different. Argentinian Nestor Girolami, Chris Stubbs, who's down there ready for this one. He finished 10th last night, starts from the pole here for race number 2 today.
bad reward for a 10th placed finish yesterday. He's won races previously in the Australian Series. Nesta, front row start. Things are looking pretty good in very different conditions today.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I think it's a really good atmosphere here in Australia, racing again. I'm really focused on this race. Yesterday we did a good job. Today we have to finish the job and try to do the best out of it, but we have a good car so far.
Wall Racing have provided you with a great little rocket here. Talk to us, though, about the people around you. You know them well. It's the Europeans right after you.
Yeah, I have all the support from Shaz, all the guys here, also from Wall Racing team. It's great to be back, and let's try to get another win for them.
Go well.
Thank you very much.
Ted, you're on the front row. You topped the timing sheets in practice, and then things went a little bit sideways in qualifying. Fought hard in the race to get yourself into this position. Can you stay on top?
Yeah, I think I can, but first I have to say it's absolutely amazing to be here in Australia and driving, because I've been in this game for a long time, but I always dreamt about going here to race, here in Sydney and Bathurst. So definitely, I feel like I have the pace. I will do my best, but I just enjoying the moment to be here.
We were just talking before, Jamie Whincup's one of the drivers that you look up to. How are you enjoying racing here in Australia, and is it living up to your expectations?
Yeah, but we just started. I just done it for one day. But going back to Jamie Whincup, you know, he's a champion that's been performing all the time, year after year, and that's something to look up to as a driver, you know, from another country. So that's why I have a big respect for him, and you know, I always say that I can do the same, you know, be the champion, keep going.
Thanks, Ted. All the best.
Thank you, Molly.
Norby Mikolas starting from P3 for today's first race. Norby, talk to us about your expectations for this one. The track at the moment, it's dry.
Yeah, but we never know if the rain will come, because yesterday was tricky. Suddenly the rain arrived, it was a big chaos. Can happen the same today, so no expectations, to be honest. I expect to have a good start. Then my aim is to stay out of trouble, and then let's wait and see.
It's getting tight at the top for the title, equal on points as our championship leader in the world standings. There's a lot to play for in this.
Yeah, but we still have a lot of races to go, so not really looking at the standings, to be very honest with you, because the target has to be to maximize every possibility we can get.
All the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Aaron Cameron, one of the drives of yesterday, that was a mighty effort that you put in. I'm sure you're just focused on having the best race possible, but really, this is a big fight for the championship for you now. You've just moved up into P2.
Yeah, I know. Everyone keeps telling me that we're coming, so yeah, it's good. Position's good, just trying to run our own race and have some fun with these guys, but also, worry about ourselves. So yeah, hopefully we can, stay in the top 5 and get a good position for the last race.
Not much running on the slicks yesterday. Probably means you've got some good rubber on now?
Yeah, we got good tyres. We haven't put new tyres on all weekend. Like we did in quali, but it was raining, so we don't really know what the car's like at all. We're just winging it and see how she goes.
Have a good one, Aaron.
Thank you. Cheers.
Good luck.
Jan Ellershay on the third row of the grid. You've got your equal championship leader in front of you. What are your expectations for today's race?
It's tough to expect anything from the racing here in touring car, you know. So we will just try to make a good start, a good T1 and 2, and then we will try to control the race, control the tire drop off as well. Hopefully we can have a clean and fair race. That's what we want to see, and at the moment we are really enjoying our moment with the Australian driver. They are doing very well, and the show they provide is amazing. So really happy to be here in Sydney and Bathurst next week as well. So looking forward to it.
We're loving having you. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Frederick, just getting into the zone, but just quickly, all the lessons and learnings from yesterday, what do you take into today?
If you see some small raindrops on your windscreen, then for sure somewhere it's raining hard. So that's the main thing I learned. The racing was great, and I hope to have a great race again today.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That gives you a little introduction to just some of our international guests here for our Australian viewers. And what we should point out, Paul, is that we have world champions. We have Nürburgring 24-hour winners. It is a stacked field of internationals. And I know they've been very complimentary of us here. I reckon they walked away from Friday night here at Sydney Motorsport Park pretty fired up to make a statement today.
Absolutely. And let's remember as well, yes, at this level, it's all about the victories, the success, getting the championship points. But these guys like a good motor race as well. Quickly looking on screen now, air temperature 22 degrees, track temperature at 28. Humidity slightly better than we saw yesterday at 67%. But as everybody's been saying, as we've seen in previous races, there's some weather in the air. It may be dry now, but I will lay good money down that we're not going to be in the same conditions in the next 10 minutes.
Can we just give a quick snapshot? Aaron Cameron talking a moment ago, just in points terms, for the Australian series, the Super Cheap Auto series, because we've got a title race, Matt, within this World Tour visit as well to think about on the domestic scene, don't we?
Moves up into second position now, just 35 points behind Bailey Sweeney coming into this race here. So he's only 1 point clear of Josh Buchan. So we've got the Australian Championship mixed in with the World Tour here. So we'll crunch numbers during this race and see where it all washes up at the end of this 17 laps.
And of course, it's worth bearing in mind that the Kumho TCR World Tour drivers are invisible to the TCR Australia points playing position. So although we'll get the race order, the highest place of the Australian drivers will take the maximum Australia Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia points, and so on and so forth. Not a calculation we particularly had to worry about in race one, because the highest place Australian driver was the highest place driver, full stop. An incredible performance again from Will Brown, and for me, I'm fascinated to see what he can do from 10th on the grid and how aggressive he needs to be in the opening few encounters.
There hasn't been a dull top 10 inversion race here all season long. I get the feeling it's going to be the same here as the cars leave the grid for the parade lap, the final lap before it's game on here at Sydney Motorsport Park. We're just 40 kilometres to the west of Sydney, Australia's biggest city, Rusty, a track we know very, very well.
This guy was the winner on Friday night. Will Brown for Melbourne Performance Centre, the Liquimolli Audi. He will start from row 5 because, as Matt's detailed, we invert the top 10 results from last night. He was our winner. He starts out of P10 alongside Machinhua in the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. entry. Pole position, well, it's the 34-year-old from Argentina for Honda Wall Racing, Nestor Girolami, and he has been to Australia before, and that the last time he went to, he came to Sandown, and he absolutely cleaned up.
Took the broom home, didn't he, with a clean sweep that day at Sandown, and so good to see him back here. And that battle between he and Jordan Cox last night for that 10th position, which inevitably becomes pole position today, was staggering to watch in those greasy conditions. But Ted Bjork, the Scandinavian touring car champion in the past, he won't let this be easy for Nestor Girolami.
Absolutely not. Fastest in FP1 and FP2. Ted, a little bit disappointed in qualifying, it has to be said. Stayed out of trouble in the race, though. One thing that's really worth bearing in mind as well, we've had a few changes to the finishing results from yesterday. So anybody who watched the race will have seen Mikel Azcona come across the line in second position. He's been given a 5-second time penalty, so in effect, he will drop to third place in the result. Machinhua moves up into second. So our starting grid, Bebu Girolami is the man on pole position. Alongside him, Sweden's Ted Bjork for Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. Norbert Mikulis, the BRC Hyundai N Squadra Corsa driver, lines up third. Big opportunity to try and break free from his joint championship lead. And Aaron Cameron joins him on the front row of the grid.
When we say Bebu, that's his nickname, isn't it? We're Nestor Girolami, and we know him as that. So, Elishay, we need to... We heard from him on the grid there with Molly Taylor before. Let's see what he can do out of position 5. Frederick Vervish as well. Great to have him here. Huffy. Rob Huff out of 7, a guy who knows what it takes to win at a world level. British touring car race winner. He is a hustler when it comes to touring car racing. So good to have him back down under.
Just those 2 rows there is quality right there. Machinhua starts out at 9 with Will Brown, who won yesterday's race. Jordan Cox, who stormed from the back of the field, was 11th. Tom Oliphant resolved a result yesterday there in the Auto Glim Lincoln Co car. Lockie Manif, they made up 10 positions yesterday. The series leader here in Australia, Bailey Sweeney, starts out at 14. Reigning Super Cheap Auto TCR champ Tony D'Alberto starts out of 15. And Josh Buchan out of 16.
Can't believe that our pole sitter in Ben Bargwana yesterday was such an emotional pole position for him, and he would end up back in 18th place where he's starting today.
Yeah, really devastating for Ben there, and that's so difficult when you start to fall out of the groove. It's so hard to retain position. So Ben, He's got an opportunity, though, now to start pushing forward and make up for some of that disappointment.
So here we go. The calm before the storm. The afternoon race of the Kumho World TCR round here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Argentina taking on Sweden at this beautiful 3.9 kilometre course. Welcome to our coverage right across the world here. You're in for something quite special as the green flag waves at the back. Our top 10 inversion race in this Super G Auto TCR Australia event. Girolami versus Bjork. Away in race number 2, the Lincoln Co gets the start, but have a look at Aaron Cameron lighting the wick of the Eve Valvoline Peugeot. The Lincoln Co covers off Girolami, but has forgotten that the Peugeot is on the outside here, and he's staying with the Lincoln Co. They're still side by side. Girolami trying to force the issue. He's on the grass, recovers it. Bjork bowls are wide, Cameron will move to the lead. Girolami just holds on to the car, and only just.
Incredible scenes. Nesta Girolami manages to hold on to the car. Now he's charging against Aaron Cameron. Can the Australian driver hold off the Argentine? Ted Bjork is back on the racetrack. Girolami gets the job done. He takes the lead, but not for long. He runs deep. Cameron, not content with second place, retakes that position. That is Mikel Azcona on the grass. Oh, on the log stops. Is there damage on the BRC car?
Like
yes, there is. Mikel Azcona in strife.
How good is Aaron Cameron on pole rubber? Firstly, in the phasing of the start, he got great grip, launched away, and wasn't afraid to get the elbows out with Nesta Girolami. So experienced Nesta is as they went down into one. You've got to feel for Ted, though. Got in hot, trying to defend Girolami and just could not arrest the speed. Couldn't pull it up at turn 2.
Another sensational start here in the Kumho TCR World Tour. More happening. That's Ben Barguana in the mix of that incident down there with one of the Harris cars and a Lincoln Co car. They stay in the rows of 2 here to turn number 10. It's only lap number 1.
Nicholas, there was definite contact there as we jumped aboard with Norbert Nicholas. So now, good point that Paul's making here. Ma Xinghua is down in 22nd place.
Yeah, massive drama. We'll find out what happened there, although now we've got a big attack. That is Frederick Vervies. So Vervies on the inside. Has he got the job done? Jan Alichet on the outside line. The car's getting squiggly underneath him. Further up front, Norbert Nicholas again trying his hardest to mow the lawn here at Sydney Motorsports Park. That doesn't hold him up too much, but the Lincoln Co cars are at the top and the bottom of the field and seem to be involved in all of the drama.
This is wild. What a start. Brown up to P7. It's the Australian Aaron Cameron leading, who was a star rookie in our first year. Azcona comes to pit lane, who had a great Friday night here, but it hasn't started well on Saturday.
He was one of several cars to take to the dirt here in turn 4 on the first lap. As Aaron Cameron gets a bit of a margin here on Nesta Girolami. Nicholas runs in third with Ted Bjork, who started from pole. Rob Huff runs in 5th. Just some news from race control cars 18 and car 4 under investigation for a potential jump start. So that's our race leader and Jimmy Claret in car number 4.
That is going to be a big story. If our race leader, Aaron Cameron, does get penalised for that jump start, that will be such a shame. He's made such a good launch off the line, pulled out a 1.3 second lead. Will Brown now on the attack again as well with Continue Racing Audi versus the Melbourne Performance Centre machine. Brown gets done in the first section but has the inside line. He's got the high ground now to the inside. All he needs to do is be smooth on the accelerator. Vervies is going to run out of racetrack. They give each other room though, and that is job done for Will Brown. But I reckon Fred is going to have another launch down into T1.
You're talking about cars that produce around about 340, 350 horsepower, turbocharged 4-cylinder engines, front-wheel drive. They dance and move about typically, and those that are brave on colder rubber at the start of the race, advantage Jordan Cox. Down at turn 2, Schaeffler Peugeot. One of the Lincoln Co's has gone off as well.
That's Jan Alichet. That is our joint championship leader in the Kumho TCR World Tour. Jan Alichet in contact. This is massive for the World Tour. Remember, he came in on level points. Aaron Cameron moved up in a second in the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series. Big shifts in the momentum for two-star drivers.
They may be invisible in the World Tour, the Australians, but they're very much real out on the racetrack today. Big game changer in the series is our leader under investigation. There's an asterisk next to the Eval Valine car right now, but he's got a 7/10 of a second. It's going to be more than that when we get down to turn number 8. Girolami under attack here from one of the Lincoln Co's. It's been a tough day already for the 4-car Cyan Racing Lincoln Co assault today.
Yeah, really disappointing. I must apologise as well there to our Australian audience. I got Aaron Cameron and Jordan Cox mixed up in all of the excitement there. But of course, as you say, Cameron still has that investigation against his name, and Jordan Cox is very much on the defensive. Although Bebel Girolami on our timing screen is 21st now, Cox just moves ahead of him. So Girolami's day is going from what could have been quite great into an absolute disaster.
And that's what's happened to Girolami. Trying to pick that up. That's on the way down to turn 6.
That's going to be a safety car as well, I think, to get that car out of the way if Bebel can't get it started and move off of the racetrack.
Got to be contact there, surely, that's resulted in him going off at that point in the track. We go back to Brown, who continues to move through. So he's battling with Huff now for 4th place. He's ahead of Vervish, the 2-time Nürburgring 24-hour winner. Aaron Cameron with a question mark leading the race over Norby Mikulich. 3 Audis all joined together there. So a bit going on.
Safety car is called, so they've given Nesta enough chance to move the Honda Civic down here at turn 6. So the man that started on the front row, there he is. Is parked against the tyre barrier here. Aaron Cameron's lead of 2 seconds is going to come back to 0 and calm the farm here in Sydney. Cameron leads for Mikulis. Bjork runs in 3rd. Huff and Will Brown up 5 places in race 2 here at Sydney.
So, safety car intervention. We're going to slow things down a little bit, take a break for a moment in time to catch our breath and just work out exactly what's happened. Who are the big winners and big losers following this incident?
One of the big winners, Josh Buchan, up into 8th place for HMO Customer Racing. His teammate Bailey Sweeney is 7th. They've been off the radar. Let's look at this replay here. Watch row 2. Aaron Cameron, does he roll? Ooh, I tell you what, he might be in some trouble there. I'd like to see that again, but from that angle, I need to see the lights too, I need to point out. There you go. So this action aplenty on the opening lap. Pretty wild stuff going on.
Now, was that Mark Ingeois who got into a car at the top of turn 2 that caused that damage at the initial start? We were watching Nesta Girolami under attack. What I've learned with this, Paul, is there's no lead-in time. It's on from the minute the lights go out.
Absolutely. It is a case of you've got to be aggressive from the very off. Mikkel Afkona there we can see with damage on the BRC machine. He would head down pit lane, so shame for Afkona. Meanwhile, Noah Mikulis at the front of the field, his teammate doing his best to use all of the racetrack and a little bit more. But that's the big one with Coxey straight in to the side of Jan Elishay. Both cars would exit the racetrack. A little bit of moving, it seems like, in the braking zone. And that is a big connotation to the Kumho TCR World Tour, of course, as well as for Jordan Cox's own aspirations in this race.
That's a massive send.
Massive.
And both those cars are now back in the pit lane at the moment while the safety car period is on. This is only, remember, the first 3 laps.
It'd be good to have seen that one a little bit earlier on to see what built up to the Elishay Cox incident, but that is Bebel Girolami that we've not quite seen exactly why that wall racing Honda is stationary on the racetrack. There is the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. They're putting some new boots on Jan Elishay's machine. They're keen to get back on the racetrack, of course, because we pay points down to 15th position in the Kumho TCR World Tour. So if Jan can get on track and be classified, there's still something to salvage.
They're trying to fix that bodywork so it doesn't rub against the tyre. Jordan Cox, it's battered and bruised. The picture partner, Schaffler Peugeot, they're both going to leave the lane together. They'll both have opposing views of what happened. Jordan fired it down the inside. Does he feel like Elishay defended too heavily? Did he move? You know, that's going to be a bit of fireworks, I reckon, in what is said post-race. What has gone wrong for this car? When it debuted, the brand new spec Honda in December 2022, it was this man who had the honours of driving it in in Italy. We've got a brand new model in Australia for the first time. It arrived at Sandown. Tony D'Alberto's finally got his hands on it. And as we said before, Nesta Girolami on his last visit to Australia was brilliant. So the Wall Racing crew are very good. They'll get on to that. Lincoln Co, Cyan Racing, such a professional outfit. I think as one of you reflected earlier today, when you walk down the pit lane and you walk by the 4 cars that this outfit is running this weekend, and it's almost a little Formula 1-esque when you walk past in the presentation.
Yep, fantastic stuff here at Sandown Raceway. So we are still under safety car conditions. We're also at Sydney Motorsports Park. I got a bit excited because we were talking about Sandown, and I think I'm going back in time, but plenty of drama on the track.
Well, to your point, work through from race control. 5-second time penalty for the 18 and the 4 for a false start. So we're under safety car here. We think we'll get a start perhaps this time by. We'll confirm that for you. The mission now for Aaron Cameron to succeed in winning this. Now watch row 2 here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell without the lights there.
We need the lights.
And remember, we are downhill. A car actually stalled in the background of that shot too. I tell you, if you were going to pick, it'd be the front row more than the second row.
It's almost an engaging gear type of motion rather than physically starting early. So see the lights. I would not want to be the one making that decision. And for Aaron Cameron, let's remember before the safety car, he built a almost 2-second lead already, which would have gone a long way to negating this penalty. This is a nightmare scenario.
My first look at that, I actually thought it was a little more damning than what those replays seemed. It is so line ball, that call. In the end, a 5-second time penalty. So if Cameron is to have a chance of winning this, he's got to bolt here at the restart. He's got to build a 5+ second advantage.
And was it car number 4 as well, Jimmy Clary, that we said also has that same problem? The car number 4, Clary, he's down in 16th position. So not going to make a great deal of difference to his overall race result. But again, safety car, everybody Constantina's up together again. All the gaps start from 0. And gents, those lights are out.
And this is what caught out some of our international drivers last night over here in Australia. Once the lights go out and the safety car leaves, there's no weaving in that line. So Aaron Cameron will lead this field, but needs to hustle. 5.01 seconds or better will get him the win. He doesn't need another safety car. Norby Mikulas, we're riding car with now, 2nd position. The pole man runs in 3rd now of Ted Bjork. Rob Huff runs in 4th, and Will Brown, the hard charger in the top 10 in the Liqui-Moly KMC Audi, is running in 5th after starting from position 10. Here they come back to the restart at Sydney Motorsport Park, our reverse top 10 race in the Kumho World TCR Tour.
So Aaron Cameron needs to catch his rivals out now to take as much advantage. He's leaving it as late as he possibly dares to accelerate. Of course, you've got to maintain safety car speed up to the start-finish line, and then we're at racing speed. You can accelerate at any given point, and Aaron Cameron goes now. That is a good start from the Peugeot driver. Norby losing a few car wins, and if anything, it's Ted Bjork on the attack. Further down the running order, that's one of the Cyan Lincoln Co racing machines. Is that Jan Elishay? I'm not quite sure.
That's a routier.
That's a routier indeed. Making a move in a T1. That's a gutsy move on cold tyres.
He's battling our own Tony D'Alberto. We go back one of the drivers.
Norby.
And didn't need the wet weather for that today. That car understeered massively into turn 2, and he'll lose a couple of positions in the process. Just shows you how much temperature and heat goes out of these Kumho tyres under that safety car period. But it's spiced up the mid-pack, hasn't it?
It has indeed, and that's opened the door for Will Brown to get in there. So Norby again on the grass. Great move by Brown, and around the outside, Furbish for good measure as well.
Welcome to Australia. Oh, wow. He's on a charge here, Will Brown. So we go back and have a look here now at Bailey Sweeney. We've been talking about the progress made by his teammate Josh Buchan. He's up the inside now on Sweeney, but he'll be on the outside as they go into the right hand. Wild stuff for HMO Customer Racing. Bailey Sweeney catches it. If you're Rob Benson down running that team at the moment, you are torn. Emotions are torn.
and they're still side by side. So after that moment, Bailey Sweeney's not taken stock. He's just kept it absolutely pinned. He gets the deal done now, so Buchan stays behind, but that is some sensational driving I've seen from Bailey Sweeney. Ben Bargwanna in the heart of all the fighting as well. He's currently holding on to 14th position, so he's made a few small gains, but he seems to be under big pressure from the fellow GRM Peugeot behind. And of course, that is Mikel Afkona on the recovery drive as well.
Remember, these guys are down 13 position onwards. It's like it's the battle for the lead. Here's Aaron Cameron, 1.9 seconds he's put already in one lap as he pulls away from Rob Huff. Will Brown is up to 3rd position from 10th on the grid. Is he daring to dream to come from 10th for a win?
Amazing if he can pull that off. This is a section of the lap where we haven't had too much in the way of contact or dust flying. They're settling down. What a shame. Front row start for the driver of that car. Ted comes into the lane. Cameron leads the way by 1.8 from Huff, Brown, Vervish. Let's take a look at this here. That explains why it got wild for Norbert Mikulis down at turn 2, and clearly some damage to the right front of the Lincoln Co. Something wrong.
Here it is in car. So might attract the attention of race control maybe during this race, so I'll leave that to later. There's going to be a lot to break down in this race. Can you imagine what was going on at HMO Customer Racing when this was happening on the way down to turn number 8 between Sweeney and Buchan? 1st and 3rd in the Super Cheap Auto Series here in Australia, running down the field at the moment. Got to say a big shout out to Brad Harris, up 7 positions. The privateer driving for Wall Racing,
there
up
he
into
is.
10th place.
There he is. You can see him on the left of your screen in that almost identical blue and white machine. There's Jordan Cox further back with the 2nd of the Harris entries. They're fighting over 17th place at the moment. Remember the Schaeffler Peugeot trying to come back through the field after that earlier incident. It's Cameron leading the way from Huff, Brown, Vervish and Norbert Mikulis.
So, approaching half race distance of what's been an exceptional race once again, backing up from last night, and again, we'll do it again later tonight here at Race Sydney under these bright Musco light towers. And that going to be determined by the overall points from the 2 races, so it'll mix it up again when the lights go out a little later on tonight. Bargwanna, who scored the pole yesterday, running back with the reigning champ here in 13th and 14th position. Zach Suter just ahead from the back up into 12th position now.
Such incredible scenes here at Sydney Motorsports Park. We've still got plenty of racing left to do. Let's not forget, we're only on lap 9 of 17, so we've still got several drivers, I think it's fair to say, are running out of position. But meanwhile, Will Brown's up in the 2nd place. So Rob Huff, the last time I looked, was in 2nd position, sorry. Will Brown was up into 5th, but somehow he's jumped the 2 ComTU Racing Audis and run 2nd in his pursuit of Aaron Cameron, who, gentlemen, let's not forget, has a 5-second time penalty, and at this moment in time does not have a 5-second gap to the chasing Brown.
And he'll just need to keep that gap there. Also look in the mirrors with Huff and Vervish just behind in tandem in the ComTU entries. Ted Bjork back in the pits. Tough day, as we said earlier, for the Lincoln Co. Let's go to Molly.
Yeah, really tough day, guys. Ted, can you just talk us through what happened?
No, it's tough start of the race. It felt really good, but I came in on the inside and braked a little bit too late. There was some contact in the back, but then lost a few positions. And then after the restart, I felt my tires are really good, but I dived on the inside and I had a contact with the other driver, so I had to retire.
And it's damaged the power steering and the drive shaft, is that correct?
Exactly. So then you can't drive. Yeah. Sorry, but it's good to be here, but that's really bad, and I'm looking for the next race, but shit.
Well, all the best in the next one.
We apologise for the language there, but that's okay. That sort of sums it up. It sums up what it means to them, what it's worth to them. Now, just pause and think about this for a second. Firstly, Will Brown for Melbourne Performance Centre, an Australian-based outfit that do a very good job running these European makes, particularly the Audis, is ahead of the ComTU entries of Huff and Vervish. So they've been, the kind of Aussies have been looking at the international teams and what everybody's up to. Advantage an Aussie team there. And let me tell you at the moment, Rob Benson, who runs HMO Customer Racing, is one of the most competitive people you will find. So he runs a great team, HMO Customer Racing, for both Bailey Sweeney and Josh Bucket. They are chasing Norby Nicholas at the moment in the entry that's come from overseas, of course, for the Squadra Corsa. If they can get ahead of that outfit, they'll be cheering.
And I've got to say, on Will Brown, I've had the privilege of commentating on the Kumho TCR World Tour all year. We've been with TCR Europe, a very high-level championship, and we've been with TCR South America. Not one driver, not one, has impressed me as much as Will Brown has this week, and as Marcin Hua comes down pit lane now. So his nightmare day pretty much goes even worse. That car no doubt running into retirement, but Will Brown, an absolute superstar and looking very, very promising to chase down Aaron Cameron at the front of this field for a second race victory of the weekend.
You ride with Jan Ellershey here at Sydney, race 2 of the weekend. Zach Suter just ahead from the back of the field is reigned in 12th position as the Lincoln Co tries to salvage a result. They've been in the wars here, it's fair to say, in race number 2, and just behind them in the new Honda Civic is our reigning champ in Australia, Tony D'Alberto. Ellershey with the move here on the left-hand side of Corporate Hill, gets it done. The Suter thought about it. Ellershey was a wake-up to that one.
Little shout out to everyone working in TV land today, from replay team to cameraman. You don't know where to look, guys. There is so much going on. So Cameron with a 1.6 second advantage. Remember, carrying a 5-second penalty. Lincoln Co squad, and there's a good crew of people that have come to support Marcin Hua, who's from Shanghai. We've seen a lot of people out here supporting him today. That's a disappointing way for him to finish, for Ma to finish that race. Let's hope he has a good final one under lights here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Tony D'Alberto now on the pursuit of Zach Suter. So Suter's been dropped very quickly indeed once Jan Ellershey makes his way past. TD trying to find a way past that Audi. Remember, Suter retired early in the running yesterday, so it's good to see the car getting some good miles underneath him, as Ben Bargwanna has a Hyundai N Squadra Corsa machine to his inside, and this is the chance now. D'Alberto has the outside line. Will he hang it all the way around the outside? It's looking good so far. Zach Suter has absolutely no response, and that is a very, very nice overtake from Tony D'Alberto in the Wall Racing Honda.
Nice 5-car scrap here for the Australians, but Ben Bargwanna has just been given the bad sportsmanship flag for exceeding track limits right here at turn 5. So he needs to keep an eye on that non-attract, the 5-second penalty in the Burson Auto Parts car.
Locks a brake there too. Fires the Honda in deep at that part. So now Cameron's advantage has been trimmed by Will Brown. Last night's winner, Will Brown, in the Liqui entry, as Matt detailed before, just a reminder, the caveat is he came from 10th place in this race. He's up into second, but look at this. He's within a shot of grabbing the race lead here. What a story. In front of the internationals, this youngster who's won so many things in Australian motorsport, successful in Toyota 86, won this class in 2019. The car that he won the title with in 2019 for HMO Customer Racing is on display here this weekend. He wanted to make a statement last night against the visitors. He's done that. Now in dry conditions today, he's backing that up.
He's the effective race leader with Cameron, getting that 5 seconds added to the end of the race time here. But Brown wants to pass him for real. While the stress was on at HMO Customer Racing, they're both running 6th and 7th. They're up 10 places and 7 places respectively.
And look at this one now. Will Brown not content to take the trophy and the points. He wants this pass on the racetrack as well, trying to apply the pressure to Cameron, and Cameron would do well to allow that Audi through because he's hemorrhaging time. If he fights Will Brown, he's losing more time. That's going to drop him a net result further back in the field. So Cameron has somehow got to find a way to minimise his time loss against Will Brown. That's not going to be easy, and I'm absolutely sure the Melbourne Performance Centre Liquid Moly Cage CMG machine knows exactly that.
Greg Russ, Paul Jeffrey, Matt Nolte with you in commentary for this. This is for real. Brown through as they go out of 8. So we knew in a penalty point he would have it. He's now properly in the race lead. We'll keep the updates coming from the lane 2. Molly Taylor and Chris Stubbs doing a great job for us down there. The view from Cameron's car. as he dances the Peugeot through the final corners. Brown is absolutely checking out here. Look at the advantage he's already built through the final part of the lap. Wet or dry, Will Brown is dialed in here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
And it was a brake lock up for the Valvoline Peugeot of Cameron down there at turn 8 that opened the door for the Melbourne Performance Centre Rowdy to get the job done, and now goes into the official lead. Now 5 seconds at this stage is probably going to drop Cameron somewhere around Tom Oliphant or Santiago Urrutia back in 9th position.
And that's just heartbreaking, isn't it, for Aaron Cameron? Apart from the most minuscule misjudgment on the start, has done absolutely everything right to take that early race lead, to withstand the pressure as best as he could through the field. Jan Elishay that we're looking, though, in the Cyan Racing Lincoln Co. with the pink highlights on the wing mirror. He's still trying to find a way past, looking Manif ahead. This is not something I'd expected to have said at the start of this weekend, that Manif would be holding off Jan Elishay, a multiple touring car world champion.
And more coming from race control. Man, it's busy there. Now Ben Bargwanna, we'll get back to that in a second. A pass happening down here at turn number 6. Elishay on Lockie Manif. Lockie Manif would be loving this. It's a family-run deal here in Sydney, and he's racing with one of the world's best teams in TCR competition. So 5 seconds is going to be added to Ben Bargwanna's time. 5 seconds is also now going to be added to Zach Suter's time, both for exceeding track limits at turn 5. You know what? I don't think it's going to be the last we'll hear of that.
There's a fire sale on 5-second penalties.
Everything's got to go.
Come and grab them. Everything's got to go. Come and grab them here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
Listen to you two. What did you do in a former life? It just became very clear for me. So Brown has now built a 1.3-second gap over Cameron. We go back to Sweeney. Haven't said enough about the autoglim entry here of Tom Oliphant. So Tom's family are here. His mum and dad are here from the UK along with his brother. They've come for a bit of a trip to take in Sydney Motorsport Park. Bathurst spent a bit of time down on the south coast. He's a winner in the British Touring Car Championship and now races for Ash Seawood Motorsport. He is up into 8th place in that Lincoln Co. Fierce battle going on here, but need to say well done. It's been a tough start to the weekend for him, but good job so far.
Yep, absolutely. Santiago Urrutia trying to find a way past. That is Ben Bargwanna in the Burson Autosports Auto Parts machine even down pit lane. But Santiago Urrutia, you saw how mobile that car was behind us. Jimmy Clare getting into some feast with Will Harris there. Clare takes to the grass, loses the position. Urrutia is hungry to find a way past that fellow Lincoln Co. But Tom Oliphant's doing a great job of defending.
Fantastic. He was great during practice yesterday here. Tom Oliphant, who's driven for some of the greats in world motorsport, including West Surrey Racing, that we remember from the British touring car days of the 90s. And he's been such a great addition to TCR Australia with Ash Seawood's team. Mystery why Ben Bargwanna came in. It was only a 5-second penalty, so we'll try and chase that up for the Burson Auto Parts Peugeot, who drops out of 19th position in the closing stages of what's been a thriller here at Sydney Motorsport Park. The Kumho TCR World Tour. It's alive and kicking here in Australia.
How about the job being done by the Harrises, respectively, this weekend? So you've got the cars that were previously campaigned by Tony D'Alberto with that outfit, and they're still run by Wall Racing as these guys continue to battle away here. They're actually ahead of Tony D. Tony D's 13th. Brad is in 12th. The Harrises, let's not forget, I mean, their dad, Bill, was a racer. They've done some great things in improved production over time. Not a surprise they're having a good run here in TCR.
You need to check his YouTube channel out, by the way, Paul.
I'm going to, and I'm going to leave a comment saying, can you please paint your cars differently to make it a little bit easier for us, as we've got Molly down on pit road.
So, guys, it's a misfire for Ben Bargwanna's car. It started early on in the race. It's been getting progressively worse, so they're just trying to get to the bottom of that now.
Can you believe that? Our pole sitter yesterday, it meant so much to him. He kind of welled up Ben Bargwanna to do that. He's been overseas and taken in a couple of events on the World Tour this year. Portugal, Spa, is going to Macau as well. And then to go after that, after the difficult race that he had yesterday, back down into 18th, had almost made it into the top 10 despite fighting with one arm behind his back. Molly just detailing the problem for that car. What a shame for that crew.
And such are the highs and lows of motor racing. The euphoria in the morning of the pole position, then the dejected 18th place, and now obviously down pit road. Hopefully the car can be repaired, rectified and ready to go again for our third and final race of the Kumho TCR World Tour and Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia here at Sydney Motorsports Park, 1925 local, 9:25 CET. But we've still got a lap to go, gents, and we've still got quite a few positions not very comfortably held by some of these drivers.
Yes, the screen's going to do some magic at the end with the penalties that will be applied. There's Tom Oliphant running back in 8th position. But here is our race leader. Won yesterday for Melbourne Performance Centre, his 3rd victory of the season. Started 10th today. Aaron Cameron, who'll drop 5 seconds at the end of this race, at the moment should be somewhere around 8th position. Should it stay this way? We can't say nothing more about Will Brown, the 2019 TCR champion, was an Australian F4 champion in the day, a Toyota 86 Series champion in this country, and now showing the internationals how to get around this Sydney Motorsport Park course with half a lap remaining.
And he had, when he won that title in 2019 here in Australia for TCR, he talked about having aspirations of going overseas and showing the internationals just what he could do. Maybe a race or two here or there. Well, in damp conditions last night, he made heads turn in the World Tour. Now in the dry today, he's going to take another one. What a start to the tour, the Aussie leg of the tour, and the internationals will be fired up with this to bounce back in the final one of the weekend, to have the Aussie dominating against those that are so well prepped, so well versed with this machinery. It's been a great drive. He's done superb things this year with Erebus. He's off to Triple Eight in supercars next season, but this is a reminder of this guy's talent, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. If there are any ever doubts about Will Brown, may they be dispelled. That is a fantastic and dominant race victory from 10th on the grid, past some of the biggest names and stars in TCR touring car, and to win by a healthy margin for good measure. There's cheering down in the team, and so there should be. What a performance.
Masterclass. Suter crosses the line, but he'll have 5 seconds added to his time as well, along with Jimmy Claret, Ben Barguana, who got back out on the track in the end to at least get a result. But how about this guy, the 25-year-old from Toowoomba, Queensland, here in Australia, dominates race 2 of the Kumho TCR World Tour. He may not be in the TCR Australia point standings this year with a fight, but he wants to go out in style here in Sydney.
Absolutely fantastic stuff. And of course, this is going to help in the TCR global ranking as well for Will Brown already. He's vaulting up those standings. He's 13th in the Kumho TCR World Tour standings.
Bring on a top 10, I say. Bring on a top 10.
For sure.
Excellent work. And you could see the reaction from the Melbourne Performance Centre crew down there before, how much this means to them. To be in front of the likes of Vervish and Huff, that is not easily done.
And the thing is with Will Brown, and I don't subscribe to this theory at all, we had weather yesterday. If you were mean-spirited, you could argue, oh, well, the rain helped him, the circumstances may have helped him, yada, yada. This has been perfectly dry. And he's been from 10th, and he's overtaken, and no gifts have been given, and he even passed Aaron Cameron on track without needing the 5-second time penalty.
Huge.
There could be nothing that you can asterisk against this performance. That is pure, unadulterated class that we've seen on the racetrack.
And won by 3.5 seconds.
Beautiful.
Put the cherry on the top.
Come on, that's amazing.
Screen has corrected itself now. Rob Huff will finish in 2nd. Frederick Vervish will finish in 3rd. Robert Nicholas 4th. What a domination by the 4 rings here today at Sydney. If you thought he was excited last night, wait till he gets out of this car today. And one more still to come. You don't want to miss that. You'll see it on Stan Sport tonight here from Sydney at this amazing Race Sydney event. 4 DNFs in the end. Barguana got across the line. And Melbourne Performance Centre patting the bonnet. Stoked with that result. 3.4 seconds the win. And Will Brown climbs out of car number 9. Another victory here in TCR Australia.
Second visit for the weekend to the Shannon Speed Series victory lane. We've still got one more race to come your way to complete Race Sydney. It'll be under lights here tonight at Sydney Motorsport Park. There you go, the 3 Audis lining up as the HMO customer racing entry of Josh Buchan comes to the lane. 5th for him today, ahead of Bailey Sweeney. Josh getting the fastest lap of the race. Well done. There's the Autoglim Lincoln Co. of Tom Oliphant, home in 7th place in the end.
And of course, gents, with the double race victory for Will Brown, that's going to be pole position for race 3 as well. Could it be an entire Aussie lockout in our first time in the country? There is Bebo Girolami's car being towed forlornly back to the pit lane. Real shame for the Argentine driver. Started this one in pole, and it went wrong pretty much from the off. Girolami and team, I've got a little bit of head scratching to do before we go again later tonight.
5-second penalty for Aaron Cameron, unfortunately, for that. What seemed from the replays like a very minor breach, if you like, for rolling at the start there. It's dropped into 8th, as you detailed before, Matt, but importantly, Bailey Sweeney, our series leader, has finished ahead of him in this race once that penalty has been applied. So from a championship perspective, in our domestic series, in Supercheap, that's important, isn't it?
It stopped the rot, really, hasn't it, as the drivers jump out of the cars down here. And Audi 1, 2, 3 in race number 2, Will Brown. The infectious smile of Will Brown as he climbs out, and we'll get set to talk to our top 3 in just a moment. Can't wait for race 3 under lights. It's going to be mega.
Seriously, can we have a 5-race week?
Please, let's just keep going.
Yeah, 3 races felt more than usual. 5 is just not enough. This is absolutely incredible. We seem to top every single time we go out on the racetrack. Yes, there's not been the dramas and the crashes, but there's been some just generally incredible racing and stories.
Let's take you to pit lane. Let's soak all this up. Victory lane. Here's Chris Stubbs.
Thank you, Frederick Vervish. He's just getting a quick wrap with his team, and we're going to give you a quick wrap too, because that was an outstanding race. Action aplenty. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see 3 Audis here, so it's amazing. Congrats to Will, and congrats to my team and Rob. I think we did a very good thing for the championship, which is our main goal. And yeah, let's keep pushing.
Frederick, well done.
Thank you.
We'll move on down to 2nd place. Another come to you, Audi. Rob Huff, he was banging the lid of this car. He was pumped up, and so he should be. Well done.
Mega, thank you very much. Hello to everyone at home. Bella, Mum, Dad, everyone. Yeah, just brilliant. What a way to come away from race 2. 3 Audis. Brilliant job by Will, obviously. I mean, the boys got some speed around here, and you know, ultimately we're not racing them in the championship. We've got to look after ourselves in the World Tour. And Fred, huge thank you to Fred and the whole Come To You team. What a team to put that together, and congratulations to Audi.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
So for the 2nd time, doesn't matter if it's damp, it doesn't matter if it's dry, Will Brown will win the race. Congratulations, and some nice words from the guys you're racing against too. They're pretty impressed with what you've just done.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to start off 10 there. I didn't think we'd get the win, that's for sure, but there was some awesome racing out there. God, these guys race hard, so, you know, I had to give it back a few times, but the Audi guys were great. I knew they were in for the championship hunt, so didn't want to do anything silly with those guys, and, yeah, I was lucky enough to get through, and then had to catch Aaron Cameron, but an awesome race. There was so much going on out there. I saw a lot of cars nearly spin and a lot of contact, so it was pretty cool, but, yeah, loved the racing.
And it gives you pole position, of course, for tonight. Talk to us, though, about how much you're enjoying this on the global stage.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable. I just got to learn to get off the line a bit better. So hopefully we get the start tonight. I think it might be wet, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Best of luck. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well done. Will Brown picking up the win. We'll head to the podium very, very soon. 39 points will be the margin now. Sweeney back to Buchan in the Supercheap Auto TCR Australia. But this is the highlights of race number 2. Contentious moment there from Aaron Cameron, who was given 5 seconds added to his time when he went to the lead, when it all just broke loose here at turn 2.
Yeah, several contacts through the field. Jan Elishay, that was certainly Jan Elishay. Ted Bjork was over in a little bit deep. Nova Mikulis in strife as well. Contact with one of the Come To You cars.
Secret is getting away on cold rubber and being brave, but it went pear-shaped for some of them in this race, unfortunately. Norby Mikulis has kept us busy from a replay perspective with some almost rally stuff. Then this happened for Elishay and Jordan Cox. Girolami, what went wrong for that Honda after starting from pole position?
That was Mikulis trying to correct the car up there with contact with on the Lincoln Coast and the HMO teammates almost getting together down there to turn number 8. Jordan Cox down the inside of Harris through turn 1. There were so many 5-second penalties to talk about during this race that dropped some of the key names down the bottom. Tough day for Lincoln Co. Cyan Racing.
Absolutely marching while heading to pit lane. Aaron Cameron, though, was our race leader for the majority of the race. His race started a few thousandths of a second before everybody else, and a small mistake opened the door for Will Brown to take the victory on the racetrack. Jimmy Claret and Harris side by side, and a dejected Ben Barguana. A pit stop too long, damage on that car. Hopefully he's back again for race 3.
Yeah, hopefully they can cure that misfire. Tony D'Alberto getting through there. Will Brown with a convincing 3.4-second victory in the end, and an Audi lockout of the top 3 with Huff and Vervish joining him.
And this is how it looked at the end of race 2 and round 14 of the Kumho TCR World Tour. Will Brown, Rob Huff and Frederick Vervish will be your top 3. They'll be on the podium soon. Norbert Mikulis home for 4th with Josh Buchan and Bailey Sweeney up 10 places and 7 places respectively. Tom Oliphant will be stoked with that result inside the top 10, and Aaron Cameron 8th.
Well, the point about Oliphant is best Lincoln Co. So great work by Ash Seaward Motorsport. They'll be pleased with that. We go back. Jan Aleshay, 9th in the end. Arutier gets 10th. A couple of other stories to talk about here. So Ben Bargwanna, 20th. That misfire and a little bit of work to do with the Peugeot. Wow. Lots to look forward to with race 3 still to come, and lots more racing here at Sydney Motorsport Park. For now, time for the podium. Here's Richard Crail.
Rusty, thank you. Welcome to the trophy presentation for race 2 of the Kumho TCR World Tour and Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Please congratulate in 3rd place for Audi Sport Team Contoyu, Belgium's Frederick Vervish. Presenting the trophies for race 2 is Kira Kouzis on behalf of Super Cheap Auto. In 2nd place, also for Audi Sport Team Contoyu from Great Britain, it's Rob Huff. Receiving the winnings team trophy for race 2 for MPC Team Liquimoli, Clifton Campbell. And the winner of race 2 in Sydney for MPC Team Liquimoli from 10th on the grid, it's Will Brown. Let's celebrate that Audi 1, 2, 3 with the Australian National Anthem. Drivers, it's time for the celebrations.
What a day, and that's only the 2nd race in the Kumho TCR World Tour. An absolute superstar drive from Will Brown today. Rob Huff and Frederick Vervish, the top 3 in race number 2. Paul Jeffrey, we get to do it again later tonight.
Absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait to go back racing again here at Sydney Motorsports Park. The Kumho TCR World Tour and the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Championship never fails to deliver drama on track. Matt and Greg have been alongside me for this one. Thank you very much once again for your company. Thank you for welcoming me into your house here at the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm delighted. Normally, I'm signing off and saying goodbye now, but we've got another one coming a little bit later on, and for everybody staying on Stan Sports, there's plenty of racing still to come. So the Kumho TCR World Tour, back in action, 1925, local, 9:25 CET. Make a mark in your diary. The 3rd race is always the most crazy. Thank you all for watching this particular race. It's been crazy, and we've got another one right around the corner. I've enjoyed every second, and I hope you have too. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Well, another incredible race there in TCR action. Unfortunately, one of the storylines, one of the men we have to speak to, Aaron Cameron, 5-second penalty. That start, talk us through it, it hurts.
Yeah, it wasn't much. I thought I stopped before the lights went